Y'all, this Drake docket, it's getting to be a little special. So y'all, listen. We're gonna go over the new stuff that's come up on this docket. I will tell you some of the stuff I just don't understand what it is and where it's come from. But Drake, UMG says you are not like us. UMG is asking from stuff from back in your past. We told y'all this might not be a good. We told you this not be good for you, Drake. But we will get into it right after this. So I'm just going to put it up here on the screen. I'm going to give you all the opportunity to read the docket. Excuse me, to read my copyright disclaimer claim. I'm going to put it up here on the screen for a few more seconds. And then also I'm going to add to the stage, which I am going to read, that the views and opinions expressed in my videos represent my own thoughts, concerns, and analysis. I do not know these entities or persons personally, and my opinions are not a statement of fact. So, what are we reviewing today, y'all? Sure, we are up here reviewing the docket from Drake suing UMG, and here we have it here. So we're going to be reviewing a couple of different things. Now, there's going to be some things we're just not going to get into. Number one, there are some things on here that I am just confused about. I don't know what they mean or who they come by or any of those things like that. But you see it here, and every day it continues to update. You know what's interesting to me? It just seems like every day that it continues to update, every day that it continues to update and get this close, I'm willing to bet you that at some point we're getting ready to close this case. They are going to settle. Because I think whatever the objective Drake was getting out of this, I don't know if he still has that objective or not. But let's get into what's going on now. So here we're going to start off. It says here, letter in response in support of motion addressed by Judge Jeanette A. Vargas from Rolling A. Ransom, dated August 15th, regarding 80 letter motion to seal address to Judge Jeanette Vargas from Michael Gottlieb, dated August 12th, document filed by UMG. Let's actually see what this is. And I think we're getting ready to get into that. Yes, we're getting ready to get into that. We're going to get into that document. But here is one that just perplexed me, y'all. And I was unsure of who this person is and why they are here. So on August 15th, we've got a declaration of interest from Monet Marchand. I don't know who this person is. I Googled them. They are an artist. I just don't know who exactly, why exactly they're on here. Let me share this screen because it's 60 pages. And as I peruse these 60 pages, nothing made very big sense to me. We'll go over here. There's a notice of filing. This was filed on the 15th. This is one out of 60 pages. Please take notice that on this date, Monet Marchand files the attached declaration of stakeholdership and cultural equity, inclusive of the Marchand Index, exhibits A and B, and supporting legal and cultural appendices in connection with her legal and cultural standing regarding the Drake versus UMG matter. And so she filed this on August the 15th. And Federal Rule of Evidence 201. As you see all of this, I'm not understanding exactly what this is, other than the fact that this person is a stakeholder. She's got a cover letter and certification page. She's got core legal documents on page 2, some exhibits on page 4, legal and cultural and binding language, and then notary service. Let's see. Uh, I This is her cover and certification page. I Filing title, motion to intervene, amicus curiae brief, and judicial notice pack. Legal basis, FRCP 24, FRE 201. Is this like an amicus brief like the professors did a couple of months ago? Symbolic basis, Jewish law, Kettlebell covenant principles, binding legal cultural partnership, Shatar contract symbolism, sealing of rights in perpetuity, declaration of stakeholders. Let's go through here. She's got U.S. Copyright Office receipt. She's got WGA registrations. She's got for Monet Merchant Sovereign Artist Legacy Kit. She's got WG registration for Somebody Loves Me visual music treatment for Drake. She has declaration of WGA registration, declaration of interest in this case. She's got press coverage, fine artists to file legal declaration in Drake's billion-dollar case, so on and so forth. Again, I've already read that in a previous page. Notarized for authenticity, declaration of stakeholdership, and motion to intervene. This is her factual statement, y'all. Let me make this bigger so we can see what Miss Monet is talking about. I, Monet Merchant, respectfully submit this declaration of stakeholdership in the matter of Aubrey Graham, aka Drake versus Universal Music Group. I assert my legal, cultural, and intellectual stake in this case based on my publicly indexed association with Drake in the context of ongoing litigation as documented through media coverage, AI indexing, and cultural record. This filing seeks recognition under Federal Rule of Civil Procedure 24 and Federal Rule of Evidence 201, asserting that my contributions and public positioning constitute a protectable public persona, intellectual property, and cultural assets tied to the outcome of this litigation. I'm going to go back and look through this list that you remember that Drake had pulled up. I wonder if she's on here. But she's filed a lot of different things. And again, I'm not going to go over all of this stuff. But she's filed basically an amicus brief to be part of this case or to say that she's a stakeholder in this case. She has copies of a lot of different things. This right here being just a whole lot. If you want to go look at it, we're not going to spend too much time on it. But again, I just wanted to make sure that I did go over that. And again, we have the letter that was written on the 15th. Letter into this is UMG writing to have letter in support to seal redacted contract. So real quickly, it says here, if I hadn't read this before, let me see how many pages. It's 2 pages. We can get into this. It says here, we write on behalf of the defendant UMG Recording, UMG, pursuant to Federal Rule of Civil Procedure 5.2D, Section 10C of the Court of Individual Rules and Practices under Civil Cases, in support of sealing the redacted contract between UMG and Kendrick Lamar Duckworth. The plaintiff, Aubrey Drake Graham, filed in connection with his motion to compel. UMG produced the redacted contract to Drake in response to his discovery request for any contracts between UMG and Lamar, reflecting UMG's right to approve, reject, refuse to publish, edit, amend, alter, or veto the publication of Lamar's songs or music videos at 8. CECF number 83-1 at 8. The redactions limit the disclosure to the parts of Lamar's contract necessary to understand any such rights available to UMG. UMG respectfully requests that the court allow the Lamar contract to remain under seal because even as redacted, it contains commercially sensitive and confidential business information. I am quite sure it does because it tells people how much that they are, what the contract is, how much Kendrick Lamar is getting, and all those different things. And I don't know if that is Drake's business, even though in the rap battle they went split for split and see who was going on. So this is basically just to have that redact, because I know they read the other letter where they was redacting it and they wanted to keep the redaction, but this is to keep that private and also to make sure that it doesn't get out because again it has commercially sensitive stuff. Drake filed a motion to have the contract uh, presented to his lawyers so that it'll be their eyes only. So I don't know if the courts are going to do that. The court is definitely going to have to rule on this. So then we have on the docket, here we have about 18 pages. I am not going to read over the 18 pages, but basically what this is that this is a memorandum of law, and this is Drake's attorneys, in support of plaintiff's motion for leave to serve a Rule 45 subpoena on a third party, Joshua Delancey, aka Josh Kaplan, by alternative means. Now, we talked about this before because the regular means in which they were to serve this man hasn't panned out. He has about 6, 7, 8 addresses, and all them addresses he's not there. So they're looking for alternative measures to serve him. And here it is. And we'll just go over what the table of contents says. It says plaintiff identified Mr. Kaplan as a relevant witness. Plaintiff has made exhaustive efforts to locate and serve Mr. Kaplan without success. The argument is that service on Mr. Kaplan through traditional methods is impractical, and service by alternate means is reasonably calculated to ensure that Mr. Kaplan receives actual notice of the subpoena. And they have listed all of the different cases and that they're wanting the judge to consider in regards filing alternative measures to get this subpoena. And so they go in the background, and I wanted to just, like I said, I just want to skim some of this stuff. How they talked about they've made exhaustive efforts, and I think that they tried him on several addresses. On May 30th and 31st, and June 2nd and June 5th, they tried him at an address in Miami, Florida. They tried him at an address again in Miami, Florida. Another address in Pompano Beach, Florida. They tried him in New Jersey, another address in New Jersey. So again, they tried him in several different addresses. They haven't been able to serve that subpoena. So they're asking the judge to use alternative means by certified mail, affixing the subpoena to the door. Email to the email address that he has listed, texting the subpoena to him via his cell phone, calling Mr. Kaplan at the telephone number and notifying him he's been served, and they go into their arguments as to why they need to do that. So Mr. Kaplan must have some really good information, and we will see, because I think he's one of those people listed in a document prior to that we had read, but we just kind of glanced over that. So they're trying to get Mr. Kaplan, child. But let's get into what we were meant to read in this, as my thumbnail basically says. UMG says you are not like us, Drake. and let me just kind of give you my thoughts on that, because when we started this lawsuit, One of the things that one of the things that when he started this lawsuit, everybody was like, well, why haven't you sued Kendrick? You're saying that you're being defamed. Why didn't you sue Kendrick? And as I've gone over, and again, these are my views and my thoughts or opinions about this situation. It is my belief that the reason why Drake did not sue Kendrick is because he was mad at UMG and the powers at UMG. Was it Lucian Grange? We don't know, because in the declaration page, Lucian Grange basically said that, first of all, I don't have day to day contact with Drake. Drake has uh, a CEO of Republic. That's who he deals with every day. I just own his masters. I got him a good contract. I don't. That's my job, to make sure that globally I'm doing what I need to do. All those day-to-day things in regards to Drake, that belongs to Republic, his recording, his record label, and they do all of that. And so what we are finding out, just pulling information, and the way I'm synthesizing this information in my brain, is the fact that throughout Drake's career, when he has come across something, because again, he's been a chameleon. He will befriend people, befriend rappers, and then he'll jock their style. I'm going to do another video because I have found some interesting things and interesting takes on Drake and the pruning from the timeline of XXX Tashion. There's a whole history going on there that I wasn't privy to, but as I wasn't privy to, I'm definitely going to share it with you all so that you can be privy to it as I'm going on, but I'm still gathering as much information that I can. However, Drake has spent a lot of time when things don't go his way, or when he tries to jock somebody's style, he does ways of censoring them or cheating. It's he has had his handlers assist him with that, and he's had it done so many times, because we find out with Pusha T and Malice with their rollout with their Clips album, Pusha T pretty much, as I recall, again, these are my opinions and my and so forth. Pusha T pretty much recalled how, after the beef that he had with Drake, he started noticing that people were requesting, like, if he would have somebody on his, wanting somebody on his album, wanting somebody to work with him, he was being censored. No, because you know that this person and that person, and particularly with Kendrick Lamar, he had a song that he wanted him to be on. They're like, no, both of y'all were arguing with Drake and had a beef with Drake, and how would it look if we clicked up and you two artists, and all of this is going on. So if you imagine that this stuff is going on when Drake is at his, he peaked and he's like right here. He has ability to stop it, but I guess he just feels like he needs to go down into the valley of the shadows of death. But he is used to silencing other artists. He is used to using lyrics and things like that, or using his cachet in the business to silence other artists. And if he has his ability to silence other artists, he also has the ability to, if any type of things that would happen in regards to him and it was bad press, he has the ability to tamp that down too. So let's get into this document. So this is the United States District of Court of Southern District of New York, and this is Defendant UMG Recordings Inc. Rule 26A1 Initial Disclosure. Pursuant to Rule 26A1A of the Federal Civil Procedures of Federal Rules of Civil Procedures. I'm just looking at, all I see is federal and procedure. Sorry, y'all. Defendant UMG Recording by and through its undersigned counsel provides the initial disclosure set forth herein as initial disclosures. These initial disclosures are made solely for the purpose of the above captioned proceeding. UMG makes these initial disclosures prior to any discovery in this proceedings and based on the information reasonably available to it at this time. By making these disclosures, defendant does not represent that it has identified every witness, document, electronically stored information, or tangible things that is possibly relevant. UMG reserves the right to amend or otherwise modify, supplement the information contained in these initial disclosures pursuant to Federal Rule of Civil Procedure 26E. As for more information becomes available during the course of any discovery in this proceeding or as otherwise appropriate. All categories of documents or information described by UMG herein are the subject to all objections as to competence, relevance, materiality, and admissibility, as well as to any and all other objections on any grounds that would require the exclusion of the information or any portion thereof, if such information were offered in evidence, all of which hereby expressly reserved and may be interposed at any time, including at any disposition or at or before any hearing or trial in this matter or in any other action. UMG makes these disclosures subject to and without waiving its right to protect from disclosure and any and all documents and communications protected by the attorney-client privilege, the attorney work product doctrine, and other privilege or discovery protection. No actual, incidental, or implied admission is intended by these disclosures. These disclosures shall not be deemed an admission as to any fact in dispute or a waiver of any rights or defense UMG has asserted or may assert with respect to any claim. UMG reserves the right to rely upon discoverable information from sources identified in plaintiff's initial disclosure. Persons likely to have discoverable information and under federal civil rules of civil procedure 26A sub AI. UMG states the following individuals and entities are likely to have discoverable information that UMG may use to support its defense. So let's get into, because you know I love a good list, good little PowerPoint. Let's make this a little smaller. And let's get into it. So we have someone named Gary Kelly. Now, Gary Kelly is supposed to have information concerning revenues generated by the recording and video and the delivery and distribution of the recording, image, and video. Ramon Alvarez Smickle. Mr. Alvarez Smickle is likely to have discoverable information concerning marketing and promotion of the recording and video. Is there a specific recording and video? They're not saying, but this is what they're saying. Bill Evans, he's likely to have discoverable information concerning marketing, promotion of the recording and video. Now, I'm not calling out this third thing because that's their contact information, and it looks like it is where their attorneys, where the attorney is. Greg Morella, Mr. Morella is likely to have discoverable information concerning the promotion of the recording. Jim Ropo, Mr. Ropo is likely to have discoverable information concerning Drake's contractual relationship with UMG and UMG's promotion of Drake's recording. David Kafir is likely to have discoverable information concerning the New York DBL Section 349 claim as it relates to Spotify. Because you remember, Spotify and iHeartRadio were initially in these lawsuits, and then Drake settled with them. Aubrey Drake Graham. Drake is likely to have discoverable information concerning, among other subjects, his contractual relationship with UMG, his reputation, and his alleged damages. So they're asking for Drake's contract. And what's so crazy is that they have it. Oh, they're asking for Kendrick Lamar Duckworth. Lamar is likely to have discoverable information concerning the creation and the recording, the image and video, and this must be the Not Like Us video, and the promotion of the recording and the video. Anthony Salah, I think he is Kendrick's manager, if I'm not mistaken. He's likely to have discoverable information concerning UMG's contractual relationship with Lamar and marketing and promotion of the recording and video. Then it says, if and as discovery progresses and otherwise appropriate, UMG reserves the right to supplement, amend, or otherwise modify the identification of individuals or entities who may have discoverable information, including without limitation, potentially supplementing with the names of individuals listed by plaintiff and his initial disclosures. UMG also reserves the right to call any individuals identified by plaintiffs in his initial disclosure to testify in connection with the proceedings. It says here, copy or description of category and location of documents electronically stored, information and tangible things under Federal Rule of Civil Procedure. Now, as before, I will read this. I want us to go back up here with what they're asking for Aubrey Drake. He's likely to have discoverable information concerning, among other subjects, his contractual relationship with UMG, his rep, you need to see my face, his reputation, and his alleged damages. That's important. That's very, very important. I want us to get into it. I want us to see it. His reputation. So let's get down here and read this information right here. Based on the information now reasonably available to UMG, UMG states that it has in its possession, custody, or control the following categories of documents that it may use to support its defense unless the use will be solely for impeachment. This is what they have. Remember, this is what UMG has. Contracts and agreement between UMG and Drake and documents concerning UMG's contractual relationship with Drake. The other recordings in Drake and Lamar's rap feud and documents concerning the distribution, marketing, and promotion of the other recordings in the feud. The petition entitled Art on Trial, Protect Black Art, appended as Exhibit A to UMG's request for judicial notice in support of its motion to dismiss. Other recordings by Drake and documents concerning the same, because listen, since he is out here using someone else, using Kendrick Lamar's words against him, we're talking about other recordings. And if Drake has a pattern of history, you remember I talked about I'm going to do this Extension little deep dive that I'm going to do. But they're going to start using Drake's words against him and the things that he has said to other people that he has been battling with and been in beefs with. And so we're going to look to see if what he said to those people are possibly true. This is a pattern of behaviors. But let's continue. Other recordings by Drake and documents concerning the same, including but not limited to those appended as exhibits B, C, and Z's to UMG's request to dismiss. Request for judicial notice to dismiss. News reports and documents. This is what's key here. Concerning Drake's relationship with and behavior around minors. The criminal charges and conviction of Baca Not Nice, because Baca had a weird case. Why is he around? The rap feud between Drake and Lamar, including but not limited to the documents that's presented in that they filed to dismiss the case. The affirmation of David Kafer, appended as Exhibit Y to UMG's request for judicial notice to dismiss. Listen, because he's saying that Kendrick Lamar defamed him by calling him a PDF file. They're saying these are the documents that's in public record that they're looking at, that they want to present to the court to show that Drake's own behaviors and relationships around minors. And here, this is where Pam Entertainment T, this is just my opinion. I don't have any of this statement of fact. We may see them calling 21 Savage to Sam. We may see them call Lotto to the stand. We may see them call Lotto's little sister to the stand. We may see them call Millie Bobby Brown to the stand. We may see him call the girl who was on stage on the stand. Apparently, Drake has some case that he settled with some woman for $500,000. Maybe she gets called to the stand. And I'm just on one hand with one thing. I don't know anything else. I don't know anything other than what I read. There is a whole Reddit thread that talks about Drake and his curious relationship with and behaviors around minors. Because you remember there was that white party that he had with social media influencers where uh, they had the claw machine where they were getting Chanel purses and bags and stuff like that. And some of those influencers, it's my understanding, were underage. These records will be made available at the office of, where they're located. It's going to be in New York. The disclosure of such records may be limited by an applicable foreign privacy or data transfer rules, if any, if and as discovery progresses, and as otherwise appropriate. UMG reserves the right to supplement, amend, or otherwise modify these categories of documents. UMG also reserves the right to rely upon documents, electronically stored information, and tangible things in the possession, custody, control of the plaintiffs or non-parties. UMG makes just okay. Computation of each category damage claimed under Federal Rule of Civil Procedure. UMG makes a disclosure based on the pleading filed to date, disputes plaintiffs have suffered any damages, reserves the right to seek attorney fees and costs and disbursements as permitted under law. Insurance agreement under Federal Rule of Civil Procedure. UMG will make available for inspection and copying any insurance agreement under which an insurance business may be liable to satisfy all or part of possible judgment in this action or to indemnify or reimburse for payments to satisfy a judge. And if I'm reading that correctly, usually corporations like that and usually CEOs have a certain type of liability insurance. And so if they have any of this type of liability insurance, they're going to give that to the court because those insurance policies will be the one, if there's any judgment to be paid out, they most likely will pay that judgment out. Excuse me. So, baby, UMG is saying, okay, you've decided to ask for all the things that you wanted to ask, Drake. And we have complied as best we can with you. But now we're getting down to the nitty gritty. If the judge decides that they don't want to dismiss this case, UMG is saying, okay, we're going to come out here swinging. And I am telling you, if this goes to trial, we may see some artists coming on that stand. You may see the likes of Pusha T. You may see the like of Meek Mill. Hell, you may even see the likes of any and all other artists that have worked in that battle with him. We may find out how he interacts with his fans backstage. We may find out a whole lot of stuff about Drake that may not be in the popular zeitgeist. The little stuff that, like I said, I probably repeat ad nauseum the little stuff that I know. But I am quite sure that we will probably be getting to a lot of other things if this case goes to trial. So hopefully they can work out a settlement. But all of this is because, again, of Drake and his ego. He lost this battle. He's lost his public persona has a big, huge crack, and he thinks that's somebody's fault. And so he realizes that his reputation as a rapper has been damaged. He has been exposed as a vampire, so to speak. That he comes in and he sucks the life out of a rapper's style and flow. And if he can't get you to sign on his record label so that he know that he can stymie you or quash you from getting your style that he copied and made his own style, he can keep you out. He will he will then try to take your stuff and wait till another rapper is at his most vulnerable and then hijack his flow. And that's what XXX extension, and I am going to do some more deep diving on that. But that's what basically he said, that he was doing a couple of different things. Because you remember God's plan, where Drake was running around helping people go to school, and he didn't. I'm not, and don't mishear me. He was doing really good things, really good things. But he bit that whole plan, that whole flow, and helping the people in the community. He bit that from XXX Tashion, and then instead of helping people within his own community of Canada, he goes down to Miami and hijacks what XXX Tashion was doing within his own community. It's a lot. It's a lot of stuff that, I'm just looking like, wow, Drake, you really was out here wilding out because you was on top. And I think UMG knows this stuff. And I think, and you can't make me believe, I'm sorry, y'all. Y'all can't make me believe that UMG doesn't have a dossier on all their recording artists. You can't make me believe that they don't have a dossier. You can't make me believe that they don't know the comings and goings of what their artists are doing. And this is going to be something outside of Drake. Drake may think the only thing that they know of him is A, B, C, and D. He doesn't realize that they have probably a whole dossier of whatever is going on with him. But he wants to get Kendrick Lamar all up in this because because I'm interested to see if UMG has a dossier of Kendrick Lamar, and if any of this stuff that they were talking about, the physical abuse, whatever happened at that hotel, do they know what happened? Because again, we find out that people, if you watch the Diddy trial, you notice that we find out that money talks. And people can be paid off to keep quiet. So was there something that's going on? I'm not saying that it is or isn't. All I'm saying is, even though UMG is, it's sad that we're on that there's some parts of this corporation that you're okay with, because you're looking at a genre of music that possibly could be the kibosh could put on this, because Drake is pissed off that he lost yet another battle that he started. But I am also interested, and I am not obtuse enough to be aware that these record companies have a lot of information about a lot of stuff. So if this goes to trial, y'all, we may be seeing a lot of different things come out. We may even see Kendrick Lamar on the stand. Man, can you imagine them singing those lyrics in the courtroom? And Kendrick Lamar is on the stand explaining the stuff, because they're asking him, he says 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 plus 5. And he said he had stuff made Gunna Wanna look like a saint. Wonder what information that he has. And it's probably something in the public. And what I mean by in the public, at least 2 or 3 people know. 2 or 3 people could have been paid off, but if 2 or 3 people know, then it's in the public. And I am so interested in that. All right, people. We do this every week. I've been on here longer than I wanted to. Y'all, please like, comment, and subscribe. And please share this video if you care. I just wanted to update you all on Mr. Drake's case. Because UMG says you are not like us. You are not like us. And we're about to show you that you're not like us. You are not like us. Because if you're asking us to give you certain information, we already have that information on you. And we're going to be able to use that information against you. That's a difficult place to be in. All right, people. We do this every week. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Please share this video if you care. Y'all, please tell a friend, tell a kin, tell a coworker, tell that heifer that you can't stand that I'm over here making these videos. And as always, people, bye-bye.